How's it going, guys? And welcome back to ManLikeMurray, the series where we go all the way from Division 10 to Division 1 whilst using the in-form Glenn Murray. And we start things off in this episode by going into a game in Divisions against a rather solid looking side, and we'd in fact go 1-0 down in this game as Kevin Gamero manages to slot the ball past our goalkeeper, giving my opponent an early lead. Although we had a swift reply, as 2 minutes later, Murray's played through on goal and puts the ball into the back of the net, making it 1-1 and getting us the point which we needed to get promoted out of this division. And that's how the game would end. We pick up a 1-1 draw, we gain promotion to the next division, and things are looking good in this series as we're progressing well. We now go into our next game where we come up against a dangerous looking side with Alexis Sanchez up front. And my opponent would take the lead early on as Grzycki puts the ball into the back of the net, giving my opponent a 1-0 lead in the 30th minute. He would then double his lead in the 45th minute, pretty much sealing the game, as this guy had had all the opportunities, and as I expected, he'd make it worse, and he makes it 3-0 in the 75th minute through Alexis Sanchez, and that's how the game would end. We pick up a 3-0 loss in our first game in the new division, which is not the start I was looking to make. Now at this point I decided that my championship side wasn't good enough to play in the division, so I sold it and used the remaining coins I had to build a hybrid squad. In goal we had Asmir Begovic, as the fullbacks we had Gael Clichy and Serge Aurier. The centre backs we had Yanga Mbiwa and Kurt Zuma. We had a midfield three of Renato Sanchez, Thiago and Morgan Sanson, and a front three made up of one Bayern player and two Brighton players in Douglas Costa, Anthony Knockaert and Glenn Murray. And I've seen a few of you guys in the comments requesting you see Knockaert used in this series, and so I have, as he's the right forward in this team who will hopefully supply a lot of assists to Glenn Murray. And I knew I had to strengthen my side, as the championship side was becoming obsolete in the higher divisions. And we now go into our next game, where we use our English side against this guy who's got a decent looking Premier League team, although we'd take a 1-0 lead through Ross Barkley in the 4th minute, and things were looking promising in this game. This guy didn't seem too good defensively, and we'd double our lead in the 22nd minute as we make it 2-0. And as always, Glenn Murray's able to rise above his defender and knock the ball in the back of the net. But this guy had a response as he made it 2-1 in the 48th minute through Ahmed Musa, who's always a danger to play against. And as I was saying, Musa's always dangerous, and this guy makes it 2-2 in the 66th minute in a game he really didn't deserve. Yet we had Jack Wilshere, and I knew Jack Wilshere had a good shot on him, but I didn't think he had that good a shot on him, giving us a 3-2 lead in the 82nd minute and sealing what is a game that we made a bit hard for ourselves. We should have really easily won, but in the end we got the win, so it doesn't matter. Now our next game is our first game with the hybrid side against a strong BPL team, and we go 1-0 down early on to a goal from Diego Costa. Although this side started off promising as Costa played the ball into Knockaert, who slotted the ball away nicely to make the game 1-1 inside 19 minutes and put us back into the match against a very tough side. And then we play the ball into Renato Sanchez in the 54th minute, who makes it 2-1, giving us an undeserved lead in a game that we really didn't stand a chance in. And unsurprisingly, this guy had an answer as he made it 2-2 in the 89th minute, which was quite heartbreaking if I'll be honest, because I felt we were the better team in that game, even though he had the better squad. We now come up against a guy called Free Rage Quit, so I knew this guy was going to leave early on, so I gave the ball to Glenn Murray and slotted away an easy chance, giving me a 1-0 lead before this guy decided to quit, so that I'd get the win even though I knew he'd leave early. Now we go into our next match, where we come up against a Serie A side, and we take a 1-0 lead as the ball bobbles to back post from a corner, and Gary Cahill of all people manages to put the ball in the back of the net. Now this guy makes it 1-1 in the 81st minute, which I was disappointed with, as I felt we'd been good in this game. And we make a slow but steady start to our new division. Although I knew if we were going to get promoted from this division, we'd have to put in some better performances than we had been, and that's exactly what we were going to do in this match, as we take an early lead through Renato Sanchez in the 13th minute, who puts us 1-0 up. Renato Sanchez then doubles our lead in the 36th minute with an excellent long shot, and at this point, all I could see happening in this game was us getting a big win, and that's exactly what would happen. We make it 3-0 in the 41st minute, as Costa manages to get the ball into the back of the net even though he was off balance. And I was just thinking at this point, if I get as many goals as I can, I could get as many coins as I could from this game, and it would help us progress. And then in the 56th minute, Knockout squares the ball to Murray, who taps away an easy chance, giving us a 4-0 lead in this game, and Glenn Murray picks up his first goal in this game. And so far, this hybrid side has been amazing. And this guy had a really good Serie A team, but the hybrid squad just seems to be a level above any other team I'd used in this series so far, as we make it 6-0 in the 70th minute and just absolutely destroy this guy. And that, unfortunately for us, was how it would end. I was hoping we'd get a few more goals, but our players were getting tired near the end of that match. We then get matched up against a very solid looking Serie A side, and my opponent would take the lead through Radja Golan in the 39th minute. And we'd played well up until this point, but there wasn't too much we could do about it. My opponent then doubles his lead in the 52nd minute, as Juan Cuadrado manages to curl the ball into the back of the net on his weak foot, which really surprised me, as I thought he didn't have that ability. But there you go, we lose 2-0. Now in our next game we come up against a Premier League side, and we take an early lead through Ross Barkley, who slots the ball under the goalkeeper. And Ross Barkley has been excellent for us in this series, ever since he's been introduced into the English side. We'd then double our lead through Glenn Murray in the 20th minute, who slotted the ball away, as he always does, with a powerful low shot, right in the corner, right where the keeper can't save it. And he wasn't done there. In the 31st minute, Glenn Murray finds the space and manages to smash the ball past the goalkeeper, who was rushing out to him, and makes the game 3-0 inside 31 minutes, putting the game to bed and getting us a much needed win in this division. And Ross Barkley wasn't done there either. He makes it 4-0 in the 85th minute. And that's how the game would end. We pick up a 4-0 win, which is a much needed win in a division which has been harder than I expected, although we've been solid throughout. And I feel like we are where we deserve to be right now, as we're very close to promotion with 2 games left. We now go into a game against an amazing looking Premier League side, and Glenn Murray gives us a lead inside 34 minutes as he slots the ball away into the bottom corner, just like he did in the match previous to this. And Glenn Murray is really building up his goals at this point. It's amazing. And this guy manages to make it 1-1, but we have an answer to it as Serge Aurier puts the ball into the back of the net, making it 2-1 and giving us the lead again in this match right before half time. Although this guy had an answer, as Alexis Sanchez makes it 2-2 by putting the ball into the back of the net in the 74th minute, and that's how the game would end, meaning that in our last match we would have to get at least a point to gain promotion to the next division, and Glenn Murray wanted that promotion. He gives us a 1-0 lead inside 6 minutes and gets his 49th goal, putting him so close to that 50-goal landmark that I was looking for him to hit in this series. And you know Glenn Murray gets what he wants. He gets a lucky deflection to tap the ball into the back of the net late on in the game, making it 2-0, and Glenn Murray scores his 50th goal for the club, and if he keeps this up, he'll hit 100 goals really soon. I'm sure of it. And although this guy scored late on to make it 2-1, it wouldn't mean anything, as we got 3 points from this game, even though we only needed 1, and we gained promotion to the next division in what had been a very solid season, where we'd performed well against some tough opponents. Now, our first game in the new division, we play against the Premier League side, and Douglas Costa gives us the lead in the 53rd minute, putting us 1-0 up with a good finish, and I highly recommend you try Costa out, as he's an excellent left forward, and it looked like we were going to get a great result from this game, but he manages to score a lucky goal in the 90th minute with Jermaine Defoe to make it 1-1, giving us a draw in our first game in the new division. Now we move on to our next game against a guy with a lot of informs who takes a lucky lead as Andre Gray manages to outjump our defender, giving the guy a 1-0 lead, and that's how the game would end. So we start our new division with a draw and a loss, which is really what I wasn't looking for. We now go into our next game in what would be our first proper smashing of the series, as the guy just seemed to score every shot he had. When I looked at the stats at the end of this match, both of us had fairly even stats, yet all the shots this guy seemed to take ended up in the back of the net, and although we'd get 2 goals back, it wouldn't mean anything in a game which the final score would end up being 5-2, and we'd take our biggest loss of the series so far, which is surprising considering the calibre of teams we have now in this series. Like, surely you'd think we'd get our worst loss with a bronze team, but clearly not, as there are some games of FIFA where it just doesn't want to go your way, and this was one of them. We now go into our next match, where we come up against yet another BPL team, and Glenn Murray gives us a 1-0 lead in the 45th minute with an excellent powerful long shot past the goalkeeper, and Murray seems to be so good at shots from that sort of position, and he scored so many in this series, and as a matter of fact we would win that game 1-0 because of that excellent goal from Murray. And the next guy we come up against has a Ligue 1 team, and we take the lead through Thiago in the 11th minute as we go 1-0 up. And Thiago, he's been so influential in the hybrid side in making things tick. Now this guy would get a lucky deflection goal in the 18th minute as Thomas Muller finds himself with the easiest tap-in he will ever have, and in the 90th minute this guy somehow manages to make it 2-1 even though I dominated the game, and we get yet another loss, and we start this division with 1 win, 1 draw and 3 losses, which really wasn't what I was looking for. We now go into what will be the final game of this episode, and we take a 1-0 lead as Oxlade-Chamberlain puts the ball into the box and Barkley dispatches it into the top corner, giving us a 1-0 lead in the 31st minute. And Ross Barkley gets yet another goal for us. He's been excellent in this series. We then make it 2-0 as Glenn Murray goes to finesse the ball, but it bounces off Eric Dyer and beats the goalkeeper. Now, I wonder if Dyer had left that, would it have been going in? Probably not, but I feel as if the goal was robbed from Murray. Now this guy would get 1 goal back in the 90th minute, but it wouldn't mean much, as we pick up a 2-1 win and a crucial win in a division which we've been struggling in. And that's where I'm going to end it. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe for more Man Like Murray on my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video, which will be a FUT Champions qualification with Glenn Murray.